10,000 years ago, in the tar-choked plains of what is now Los Angeles, something screamed. Then, silence. The last of its kind had just died, not from a rival predator, not from a fight it lost. It died from something far stranger. A bite so specialized, so extreme, that when the world changed, this animal couldn't change with it. This is the story of the most iconic predator that ever lived. Not T-Rex, not the lion. Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. And the reason it ruled for 2 million years is the same reason it vanished forever. Let's kill the myths first. Smilodon was not a tiger. It wasn't even closely related to modern big cats. It split off from the feline family tree over 20 million years before lions or tigers existed. It was built like a bear crossed with a cat. Short, powerful legs, a stub of a tail, no need for balance when you're not sprinting, a neck and shoulders built like a linebacker. And then, the feature that defined it. 2 canine teeth up to 11 inches long, curving down past its jaw like twin daggers. 3 species existed. Smilodon gracilis, the earliest and smallest, roughly the size of a modern jaguar. Smilodon fatalis, the classic form most people picture, the one whose bones fill the Brea Tar Pits by the thousands. And Smilodon populator, the giant of South America, the largest cat that has ever existed. Full stop. It stood shoulder-high to a modern lion, but weighed as much as a grizzly bear. Nearly 900 pounds of muscle built for one purpose, not chasing, ambushing. Compare that to a modern lion lean, long-legged, built for stamina over open savanna. Smilodon was the opposite blueprint entirely. Low center of gravity, dense, heavy bone. A body built like a battering ram, not a sprinter. Every part of its skeleton says the same thing. This was not an animal designed to run down its dinner. It was designed to end a fight in seconds once it had already won the setup. Here's the instinct that defined Smilodon's entire existence. It was not a runner. Modern cheetahs are built for speed, long legs, flexible spine, built to chase prey across open ground. Smilodon was the opposite. Thick, short limbs, a rigid spine. It physically could not sustain a long chase. So instinct pushed it toward a different strategy. Patience, concealment, and overwhelming force in a single moment. Smilodon likely hunted the way a lion cannot, using dense brush, riverbanks, and shadow to close the distance without being seen. Then, in a final burst, it didn't chase it ambushed. A short, explosive charge of maybe 20 to 30 feet. Grapple, pin, kill. Its forelimbs were disproportionately powerful, even more muscular than a modern lion's, because pinning enormous prey still was the entire strategy. Bison, ground sloths the size of a car, young mammoths. None of these animals could be casually chased down. They had to be trapped, tackled, and held. This is instinct shaping anatomy. Because it couldn't outrun its prey, evolution built the ultimate ambush predator instead. Now, the teeth. Everyone assumes the saber teeth were the weapon. They weren't, not directly. Here's what almost nobody knows. Smilodon's bite force was weak, shockingly weak. Studies estimate its jaw muscles could generate only about a third of the bite force of a modern lion. Those long canines were fragile. A struggling, kicking, 2,000-pound bison could snap them like breadsticks if Smilodon bit down during a fight. So instinct had to solve an impossible problem. How do you kill with a weapon you can't risk breaking? The answer changed everything about how this animal hunted. Smilodon's canines weren't used for the kill bite at all, not the way we picture it. They were used only once the prey was already pinned, immobilized, completely still under that massive muscular weight. Its jaw could open to nearly 120 degrees, almost twice as wide as a modern lion, specifically so the sabers could clear the target without touching it prematurely. Then, in a single controlled strike, the teeth found the throat, severing the trachea or the major blood vessels, causing rapid death. One precise strike, not a wrestling match, not repeated biting like a wolf pack. Total control, then total commitment. This is why the ambush instinct mattered so much, because the bite only worked if the prey was already beaten. Smilodon didn't kill through a fight, it killed through preparation. For decades, paleontologists pictured Smilodon as a solitary hunter, like a modern tiger. New evidence is challenging that. At the Brea Tar Pits, thousands of Smilodon fossils have been recovered, far more than you'd expect from solitary animals, occasionally wandering into a tar trap alone. Many show severe injuries that had healed over months or years. Broken hips, fractured spines, arthritis so severe the animal could barely move. An injured, solitary ambush predator should have starved. It couldn't chase prey. It couldn't hunt at full capacity, and yet these animals survived long enough for their bones to heal. The leading theory: Smilodon may have lived and hunted in social groups' prides, not unlike modern lions, sharing kills with injured or aging members. If true, this reframes the entire instinct profile, not a lone assassin in the dark. A coordinated unit using group ambush tactics to bring down prey no single cat, however powerful, could safely tackle alone. It's worth pausing on how we actually know this much detail about an animal that's been extinct for 10,000 years. The answer is a single location, the Brea Tar Pits, in the middle of modern Los Angeles. Over tens of thousands of years, natural asphalt seeped up through the ground, pooling into shallow traps, often hidden under dust, leaves, or water. Animals wandered in, got stuck, and their struggling drew in predators who then got stuck too. The result is one of the richest fossil deposits on Earth. Over 3,000 individual Smilodon have been pulled from the tar, along with dire wolves, giant sloths, and mammoths, all preserved in extraordinary detail bones, not just fragments, but entire skeletons, sometimes with healed injuries still visible on the surface. That density of fossils is exactly how scientists calculated Smilodon's weak bite force, mapped its jaw's 120-degree gape, and found the healed injuries that first hinted at social behavior. Without La Brea, most of what we know about this animal's instincts simply wouldn't exist. Smilodon didn't appear in a vacuum. The Pleistocene was a world of giants, mammoths, giant sloths twice the size of a grizzly, bison with horns spanning 6 feet. In that world, extreme prey demanded extreme predators. Smilodon's entire body, the dagger teeth, the wrestler's build, the ambush instinct was a direct answer to a planet still ruled by megafauna. It shared this world with dire wolves, American lions, and short-faced bears, a predator guild more brutal and competitive than anything alive today. Around 10,000 years ago, the giants began disappearing. Climate shifted, ice sheets retreated, human hunters spread across the continents. The mammoths and giant sloths, Smilodon's primary prey, vanished within a few thousand years. And here is the tragedy at the center of this story. The instinct that made Smilodon the perfect predator of its era made it utterly unable to adapt to the next one. It couldn't chase fast-moving deer and pronghorn the way wolves could. Its whole body, muscle-bound, low-geared, built for grappling giants, was the wrong shape for a world of smaller, faster prey. The specialization that took millions of years to perfect became a dead end the moment the world it was built for disappeared. Smilodon didn't lose a fight, it lost an era. Today, Smilodon fossils number in the thousands more completely preserved than almost any other prehistoric predator on Earth, thanks to the tar pits that once trapped it. It remains one of the most successful predators in Earth's history. 2 million years of dominance, longer than modern humans have existed as a species. For comparison, modern lions have only existed as a distinct species for around 1 million years. Smilodon outlasted that twice over. Its instinct wasn't a flaw, it was a masterpiece of specialization, refined over 2 million years to master one specific world, a world of giants, of slow and heavy prey, of ambush over speed. And when that world ended, no amount of strength or specialization could rebuild what was lost. Some predators are built to adapt. Smilodon was built to conquer one world completely and never let go. Here's something that surprises most people. Smilodon wasn't even the first saber-toothed predator. It wasn't the last either. Extreme dagger-like canines have evolved independently at least 5 separate times across the history of mammals, a phenomenon called convergent evolution, where unrelated animals stumble onto the same solution because it works. Millions of years before Smilodon, Barbara Felis prowled North America a false saber-tooth, more closely related to hyenas than cats, but built with nearly identical blade-like canines. On the other side of the world, in South America, Thylacophilus evolved saber teeth independently as a marsupial, not even in the same broad mammal group as Smilodon at all, separated by tens of millions of years of evolution, yet arriving at almost the same skull shape, the same oversized canines, the same wide gaping jaw. Why does this keep happening? Because in any world stocked with slow, heavy, megafauna, thick-skinned, difficult to kill quickly, the same brutal math applies. You need a weapon that ends the fight in one strike, not a dozen. Evolution keeps finding the same answer in different animals, on different continents, in different eras. Smilodon was simply the most refined, most successful version of an idea nature had already tried and would try again. It wasn't a fluke. It was the final word in a recurring evolutionary experiment, and, as it turned out, the last time that experiment would ever run. So, what do you think? Smilodon deserves to be bloodline of the beast? Drop your answers in the comment section. I will see you in next video. Till that time, bye.